completely out of whack. Your prints are blurry, they're misaligned. It's a costly, frustrating mess. You know, we all think we know what an air conditioner is for. It's obvious, right? But what if I told you that for the first few decades it existed, keeping people comfortable had absolutely nothing to do with it? Let's get into the surprising hidden problem that led to one of the most important inventions of the 20th century. So just think about it for a second. What problem was the very first air conditioner actually built to solve? I mean, the answer seems so simple, doesn't it? To keep us from sweating through a hot summer day? Yeah, but that's not it. In fact, human comfort wasn't even on the radar. That one assumption that we all make, it's completely, totally wrong. Okay, so let's start right there. Let's unravel this huge misconception about why we even have air conditioning in the first place. Here's the deal. When that very first system was switched on way back in 1902, its purpose was 100% industrial. It had absolutely nothing to do with making people feel cool and comfortable. So if it wasn't for people, what on earth was it for? Well, the real problem, the one that sparked this whole thing, came down to three things: ink, paper, and humidity. Okay, so try to imagine you're running a printing plant in Brooklyn over a century ago. On a humid summer day, all that moisture in the air is your worst enemy. It makes the paper stock expand and shrink just a tiny, tiny bit, but it's enough to throw the color alignment completely out of whack. Your prints are blurry, they're misaligned. It's a costly, frustrating mess. To solve this massive headache, the printing company hired a brilliant young engineer. His name was Willis Carrier. And his mission was simple: figure out a way to control the humidity inside that factory. Now, Carrier's solution it was ingenious. He built this machine that could control both temperature and moisture, and guess what? It worked perfectly. He solved the printing problem. But what he created was an industrial behemoth, a system that, while perfect for that one specific job, was completely useless for pretty much anything else. I mean, on the one hand, it was a spectacular success, right? It controlled humidity with incredible precision and basically saved the printing industry. But for personal use, for your house, oh, no way. It was a total non-starter. Completely impractical, wildly inefficient, and absurdly expensive. And just to give you an idea of how impractical this thing was, it was enormous. I mean, it took up huge amounts of space. It was super complex to run, it cost a fortune, and it just devoured massive quantities of power. This was an industrial tool, period. End of story. But this is where the story pivots. The very existence of this machine, flaws and all, it planted this revolutionary seed of an idea. What if this technology could be used not for machines, but for people? So even though the technology itself was nowhere near ready for the average person, the concept was electrifying. The idea that we could actually control our indoor environment for our own comfort, that suddenly felt like a real possibility. And this right here reveals such a powerful lesson for any inventor or creator. Those huge flaws, the massive size, the crazy cost, the inefficiency, they weren't the end of the story. No, they were the beginning. They became the blueprint, the to-do list for the next 50 years of innovation. The evolution is just fascinating to watch. You know, it starts in 1902 as this super niche industrial machine. Then, by the 1920s, movie theaters start using it as a luxury gimmick to attract crowds. But it's not until the 1950s that the residential boom really kicks off, leading to the small, efficient units we have literally everywhere today. And the driving force behind that entire timeline, that half-century of progress? It was a relentless focus on solving the original machine's limitations. Every single engineering challenge for decades boiled down to these three simple goals: make it smaller, make it cheaper, and make it way more efficient. When you zoom out, this whole story provides this incredible blueprint for how game-changing inventions actually happen. It's a pattern you see repeated over and over and over again in history. The process often follows these three steps. First, an invention solves a very specific, very narrow problem, like keeping paper from warping. Then, second, that solution creates its own set of limitations. It's too big, it's too expensive. And third, the long, hard process of solving those new problems is what finally unlocks its true world-changing potential. So when you look back, Willis Carrier's machine wasn't a flawed early version of a home air conditioner. That's totally the wrong way to see it. It was the perfect solution to its original problem, and more importantly, it served as the essential step one for a much, much bigger idea that would take decades to fully come to life. So it kind of leaves you with this question, right? What technologies do we see today that feel just like that first air conditioner? Huge, expensive, maybe a little inefficient, and built for a very niche purpose. What imperfect solution is out there right now, just waiting for someone to start solving its flaws and unlock a future we can't even imagine yet?